Climate change is one of the greatest threats against humanity. Countering climate change will be a multi-pronged attack that will require the cooperation of governments, companies, and individuals. While there has been a lot of doom and gloom over our future, there is hope. Renewable energy sources are growing at a rapid rate, electric cars are becoming more competitive with conventional vehicles, and the public is becoming more sustainably minded. However, there is one industry that does not have a clear path forward, that being the commercial aviation industry. Unlike the automotive industry, which is transitioning away from gasoline towards batteries, all commercial airliners use fossil fuels with no clear replacement. This will become a big problem as it's predicted that the aviation industry can contribute up to 25% of global emissions by 2050. There have been some developments in the aviation sector to address the issue of climate change. Airline and aerospace companies have been experimenting with a variety of sustainable aviation fuels to reduce their carbon footprint. We will look into the two main sustainable aviation fuels currently in development, and I will give my opinion on what is likely to be the best way forward. Before we talk about sustainable aviation fuels, we should discuss the current fuel source they will be going up against. Most commercial aircraft operate by burning a hydrocarbon known as kerosene. Kerosene is produced from crude oil and has three key properties that make it the preferred option for airlines, that being energy density, cost, and density. Potential sustainable aviation fuel sources must have comparable properties in order for them to compete against kerosene. The first sustainable aviation option we will discuss are biofuels. Biofuels are similar to fossil fuels like gasoline and kerosene in properties and performance, except that they can be produced from renewable resources, such as animal feedstock. Biofuels are expected to reduce carbon emissions from aircraft by 80% because they can be recycled in the carbon cycle and burn more cleanly when compared to kerosene. Biofuels are also known as drop-in ready fuel sources because they can be used in traditional aircraft with little modification. This is important because fuel sources that can work in existing aircraft will save companies money because they do not need to spend extra money on renovations and new aircraft. Biofuels have also been found to be cost competitive to kerosene. A study conducted in Queensland, Australia found that biofuels could fulfill the regional aviation demand, with fuel costs ranging from $3 to $4 per gallon. While these statistics are impressive, biofuels have seen some pushback by environmentalists due to their significant carbon footprint. Biofuels are also problematic because they require large amounts of biomass, which comes mostly from the agriculture industry, which contributes to 11% of global emissions according to the EPA. The second sustainable aviation fuel option to be considered is electric and hybrid electric powered aircraft. Electric aircraft use electricity stored in batteries as the sole power source. These batteries would drive electric motors to provide thrust to the aircraft. Full electric aircraft are a promising option because they would cut carbon emissions down to zero since batteries and electric motors do not produce carbon dioxide. Not only will this improve the environment, it will also save money as countries such as Australia have passed carbon taxes on aircraft to reduce travel. Researchers in London conducted a study on refitting an Airbus A320 with an all-electric propulsion system. In theory, an Airbus A320 traveling 900 miles could be powered with a battery pack. However, researchers found that there would not be enough space for both the batteries and their required electronics. This is a problem all electric aircraft face, as while batteries are energy dense and cleaner for the environment, they are too large and heavy to be placed on aircraft without considerable modification. This is a problem as it will raise the cost of electric aircraft and also limit their range that they can possibly fly. A workaround to this problem is using a hybrid electric aircraft. Hybrid electric aircraft work using a combination of hydrocarbon fuel and electricity to power their engines. The most energy-intensive phases of flight are climb, cruise, and descent. If these portions of flight were powered by batteries, an aircraft can increase its efficiency by 15% because less fuel is being burnt. By combining the best elements of electric and fossil fuel systems, and hybrid electric aircraft could become viable. However, they would still require extensive modifications to current aircraft, which would increase operating costs considerably because aircraft manufacturers would have to retrofit electric motors and batteries onto existing designs. Before giving my opinion, I want to give my credentials for talking about this topic. I am a graduating mechanical engineering student from Colorado State University with a concentration in aerospace engineering. Throughout my coursework, I worked on projects that involved designing a propulsion system using sustainable aviation fuel. It's important to keep in mind that the common goal is to reduce the aviation industry's impact on climate change. The best way of doing this is to reduce the amount of carbon dioxide emissions by aircraft because airplanes are the main producers of CO2 in the industry. Also, it is important to realize that the aviation industry has incredible demand, with the aviation industry transporting 4.3 billion people every year, and that number will likely continue to grow. Keeping costs low will be critical for millions of people who depend on cheap and fast air travel. All that being said, I believe biofuels are currently the best option for the aviation industry right now. They can be quickly implemented into current generation aircraft at relatively low cost and would have an immediate effect on reducing carbon emissions. While biofuels would still produce a considerable amount of carbon, they still overall reduce carbon emissions without sacrificing flight range and cost. With further development, a new generation of hybrid electric aircraft would replace biofuel aircraft, further reducing carbon emissions. Once batteries meet the design requirements for commercial aviation, hybrid electric aircraft would pass the torch onto electric aircraft, bringing the aviation industry's carbon emissions to zero. This is just my opinion. What do you think is the best option for the aviation industry to reduce its effect on climate change? You are the future of humanity, and humanity has always found a way through the hardest challenges. Please leave your thoughts in the comments section below. Subscribe to the channel, and thanks for watching.